Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody in the chamber, those online, to our 1st of September 2020 Board of Commissioners of Weber County. I'm Gage Frohr, chairing this morning. To my left is Commissioner Scott Jenkins, Commissioner Jim Harvey to my right. We appreciate all those that have taken time out of their morning to be with us. We did delay the commission meeting by 30 minutes this morning. I appreciate that. We had a conflict with a meeting that needed to attend, but we're happy to get started. So with that, we're going to have a Pledge of Allegiance given by our own Shelley Hallisey, our invocation this morning with Duncan Olson, and we'll go to the thought of the day by Commissioner Jenkins, and at which time then we'll go to public comment. Shelley.
Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Olson.
Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this day. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have to live in this country. We're grateful for the many blessings that we receive each day. Heavenly Father, as we go throughout this meeting, please be with the elected officials, the commissioners, and those that continue to serve us, that they might be able to discern what is the right way to go. We also ask a special blessing on our land, that we might be able to receive some moisture, so we might be able to sustain our lawns, our gardens, our pastures. We ask these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Duncan. Commissioner Jenkins.
Thank you very much. You know, it's interesting to watch the wheels of government move. Sometimes it is so slow. And I look at a couple of things that we've had to do lately. One, I hope to be able to have a discussion about with Ogden City is our buildings out at our property on 12th for our property management folks. My good night, it's taken a long time to get that permitted, and I talked to Bryce this morning, we're still not done. But specifically what I wanted to mention today is, we have this funky bridge, Wildwood Bridge, up the canyon. And what a pain it has been to try to get a contract for that. And we've had to end up bidding that bridge 3 times. 3 frickin' times we've had to bid that thing. Well, anyway, we have a contract that we're going to issue. And I can't believe it. Number one more time, we're cleaning up after commissions in front of us, you know, where they got this bright idea that we were going to maintain bridges. So we're preparing the paperwork to send out to all those folks, letting them know that this is a one-time deal, and we're absolving ourselves of any responsibility after this. And number 2, we've got a bridge, a bid that's reasonable, and we're getting ready to accept the bid. So anyway, that's exciting to get that thing finally put behind us. Man, that has taken a long time to get that done. But it's finally done, and I just wanted to let you know that even though the wheels of government turn slow sometimes, they do turn. And you just got to be patient and let us get our thing done. So we're done.
Good to have that behind us.
Oh, is it good?
That's great. And I appreciate that. I made some comments to Commissioner Jenkins. The meeting that I was involved with prior to this was the MITA board meeting. And we've got some great things going on in Weber County. I just learned this morning that the total value of our Falcon Hill project, which happens to be in Weber County, with Northrop Grumman, will exceed $400 million in value. We are set to approve buildings 3 and 4 in our October meeting. which will bring the total square footage out there for office and lab space to over 800,000 square feet. We're anticipating about 3,000 to 4,000 new jobs or jobs out there, with about 40% of those being from out of state. And so we're excited about that taking place. So great things are happening here in Weber County.
Well, Commissioner, what did they say the average wage of those jobs were?
From what I heard was
106.
105, 106 is the number
Yeah.
I've heard. Yeah. So Weber County is coming into its own from a office economic engine for the state. And I'm very proud that we are able to offer that. And as we look at that development out there, the UDOT is fast tracking improvements to 5600 as well, which we know has to take place. So anyway, just a heads up. Let's go to public comments. Do we have anybody, Shelley, on Zoom that would like to make a comment, or members of anybody here in the chamber? Why don't, ladies, if you'd like to come up. I thought that you might want to participate. Just please introduce yourself.
Hi, gentlemen. I wish to remain anonymous. I am a woman, a Utah who lives upon the soil east of this building. I come to you men as a woman operating in the private. You are elected public servants. You are bound by your oath to uphold the Constitution. You serve the people. This is regarding the county policy banning entrances for those who don't wear masks in any county buildings, like the library, even if they claim medical or religious immunity. What you are doing is unlawful. We may choose to put you on notice and hold you liable for violating our God-given rights enumerated in the Constitution for the United States of America. According to state and federal law, the people who do not wear masks due to their religious beliefs have a free and equal access to all facilities and services of the County of Weber. Both the state constitution and federal constitution makes clear that our rights to conscience shall not be infringed, nor the free exercise thereof. Utah Constitution Article 1, Section 4 reads, "The rights of conscience shall never be infringed. The state shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." The Civil Rights Act further of 1964 is federal civil rights legislation that prohibits discrimination in numerous settings, including public accommodations. Title II of the Civil Rights Act specifically prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion, etc., in places of public accommodations and provides injunctive relief for such violations. Further, Section 242 of Title 18 makes it a crime for a person acting under color of any law to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States. Title 18's UCC Section 242 reads, "Whoever under the color of law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, or policy, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution of laws of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both." Title 42 U.S.C. 1983. A civil rights claim arises, and a complaint can be filed in Federal District Court, District of Utah, when constitutional rights or privileges or immunities have been violated by someone acting as a government agent, acting under the color of law. I have now letting you know the policy prohibiting entrance to all county buildings, such as the library, can be considered acting under color of law. A policy is not law. Your policy is in direct violation of the law. I would like to give you the opportunity to avoid being served notices of injunction. May I recommend revisiting your policy to be in compliance with the law? Give people who claim medical exemption or religious immunity from wearing masks fair and equal access. That means going to library events. Allow me, my family, and people like us free and equal access to county facilities. I will be attending the board meeting at the library later. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Appreciate that. Additional comments from public or anybody on Zoom? Please come up.
I am a woman, a Utahn who lives upon the soil east of this building. I come to you men as a woman operating in the private. You are elected public servants. You are bound by your oath to uphold the Constitution. You serve the people. This is regarding the county policies banning entrance for those who don't wear masks in many county buildings, even if they claim medical or religious immunity. What you're doing is unlawful. We may choose to put you on notice and hold you liable for violating our God-given rights enumerated in the Constitution for the United States of America. Amendment 1 of the Constitution reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Further, Article 1, Section 25, regarding the rights retained by the people reads, this enumeration of rights shall not be construed to impair or deny others retained by the people. Civil Rights Act of 1964, specific sections 201A reads, all persons shall be entitled to full and equal enjoyment of the goods, services, facilities, and privileges, advantages, and accommodations of any place of public accommodation, as defined in this section, without discrimination or segregation on the grounds of religion, etc. Please also refer to Section 202 and 203. A DOJ complaint has been submitted due to religious discrimination. Further, be advised a civil injunction could be filed as per UCC Title 42, Section 1983, as a claim arises regarding depriving me of my rights. Let me more importantly point out that the County of Weber operates in commerce. It has a Dun & Bradstreet number. The revenues of this county listed on Dun & Bradstreet's website, dnb.com, is over $172 million. As a woman operating in the private, I would like to remind you that I have not contracted with you to wear a mask at any county facilities, such as the library, nor will I give my tacit agreement to any future policies, which could include showing proof of vaccination in order to gain access. To illustrate, Governor Herbert has recently stated in a press conference that masks are the medicine for now until there is a vaccine. Other local public servants have said this as well. It sounds to me like you are presuming and assuming we will agree to these measures. This is to alert you that there are many people holding each of you accountable. Scott Jenkins, as a man operating in commerce, Jim Harvey, as a man operating in commerce, Gage Fourier, as a man operating in commerce. The 8 elements of a contract in commerce have not been met, and I'm here to ask you to avoid being put on notice by allowing exemption for those claiming their religious and medical immunity in places like the library. As per the laws, we have both been made mention of. I would like to access the library to go to their events, and there is no equal or fair accommodation given to physically attend their events under these policies you oversee creating, which are based on the color of law, and they are not the law. Please remedy this at once. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up, Kathy. You're next. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate that welcome. It's September 1st, and so I can't help but think about Constitution Day coming up on the 17th of September. In fact, it'll be Constitution Week, and as you know, there's a public law that supports our honoring and celebrating the Constitution. And so I came to refresh your supply of pocket constitutions. And to also bring to your attention that I wanted to honor a great friend of my late husband, Bert Smith, Ron Mann, who was the Deputy Director of the Commission on the Bicentennial of the U.S. Constitution. He just passed away last week. So many of our great patriot heroes are now helping us from the other side, as you believe, as do I. And so just in honor of Ron Mann, I wanted you to have a new copy of the Pocket Constitution and invite you, as those you mentioned, Commissioner Jenkins, the wheels of government turning slowly. I, for one, am grateful that they turn slowly usually. Sometimes our rights tend to be crushed under those wheels turning, and so I too would like to invite you to reconsider those policies and let's all go back to work and have that right to life, liberty, and property as we pursue our happiness. So I appreciate your service. You're all good friends, and I know you're doing your best, but it's time for all of us to go back to work and back to our normal lives and honor each other's rights and respect one another as I respect you. So, and these ladies who came to present today too. So thank you all for your service. And I invite you to come to an event that we're hosting at Liberty Hall on September 19th. We have a good man coming in, one of our radio hosts at the Loving Liberty Radio Network, to talk about his book, A Race for Freedom. He's a black pastor from the South, and I hope you'll join us. We're going to live stream it for those who would like to social distance, and the rest of you come and just enjoy each other's company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. We appreciate that. You and Bert obviously were instrumental in this county across the state and making sure that all of us are aware of our constitutional rights and knowing how that important it is to everybody in this state. And one thing that I would agree with what you said, we all want to get back to work. There's no question about that. This commission has put our full effort into making sure that we could get our small businesses and our large businesses back into operation as quickly as possible. So we're fully dedicated to that. Appreciate your remarks. Commissioners, anything? Thank you. Anybody else from the public or Zoom that has a comment? Thank you, ladies, for being with us. We appreciate and having your partner there that brought the flag was great. So thank you very much. All right, let's go to seeing no other public comments. Let's move to the consent agenda. Today's agenda, F1 through 6, consists of the following. Number 1, request for approval of warrants 3024 through 3044 and 452, 352 through 452, 515 in the amount of $4,027,000, 352.41 cents. 2, request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $222,490.11. 3, request for approval of the minutes for the meeting held on August 25th, 2020. 4, request for approval of retirement agreement by and between Weber County and Catherine Bodley. 5, request for approval of amendment number 1 to contract 21 DW S0026, amending the scope of work to add county requirements to provide and report on outcomes and indicators listed on the amendment. 6, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and JUB Engineers, Inc. to extend the Executive Director of the Golden Spike Stormwater Advisory Coalition for 1 year. That's our consent items. Commissioners, questions, comments before we go to Ricky? Ricky, you're up.
Good morning. Details regarding our purchase orders and checks. We issued 21 purchase orders this week for $222,000. 30% of that amount, or $67,000, is for the IT department to purchase security software. 18%, or $41,000, is for the transfer station, and that is primarily for compost grinding services and emergency staffing, and also for metal testing services. 15%, or $32,000, is for the attorney's office to purchase cubicles for the juvenile court. 12%, or $27,000, is for the health department to purchase vaccines. And then 2 items at 8%, or about $19,000. Parks purchasing asphalt and equipment, and then elections purchasing label printers for November's election. For checks, we issued 184 checks this week for $4 million. Just over half that amount, $2.1 million, is road construction based off of the 1% transportation tax. And that went to 12th Street, Pioneer Road, 1200 West, and 2550 South. 17%, or $689,000, was also road construction, and that was for the North Ogden Divide. 13%, or $518,000, is for the jail. About half of that amount was for nursing services, and then they purchased new washers and dryers. Paid utilities, purchased gloves, mental counseling, and food.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Clarification? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
So I do want to comment. This is an abnormally large check run. We normally don't have this big, and when you look at the checks that are being written out for the road projects, these are at the tail end of those projects, and so they're really big checks, and that gives us a chance to celebrate the completion of some of these. Good night. I'm tired of. It's like they say, we've got 2 seasons in Utah: winter and construction. And that's the way I feel right now. I've been driving through that construction so long, going out there on West Pioneer Road. But it's going to be good to get those things done, and so I just wanted to comment on the size of those because they're large runs.
It's going to be great seeing these come to completion, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'd make a motion to approve the consent items F1 through 6.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Votes aye. Consent items are approved. Thank you. Let's go to action items. G1, discussion and/or action on expiration of the ordinance for temporary relief from the business personal property tax penalties and interest due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the waiver of accrued penalties and interest. Mr. John Ulibarri.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We're here requesting the waiver of penalty and interest accrued on business personal property accounts from May 15th through August 17th of this year in the amount of approximately $329,300. As you remember, in the spring, Weber County was looking for ways to help our small business community. The business personal property filing deadline is May 15th of each year. While Weber County does not have the authority to move the filing deadline, you as the Commission do have the authority to waive penalty and interest if it's in the best interest of the individual, the county, and the state. In the spring, you passed a temporary ordinance authorizing the Commission to waive accrued penalty and interest on business personal property accounts for 3 months from May 15th through August 17th. This temporary ordinance has helped approximately 400 accounts in Weber County. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you for that. Questions, Commissioners?
Thank you for your follow-through, Mr. Ulibarri.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments?
None.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
is there 2 readings on this, Mr. Crockett?
First reading, didn't we? Yes.
So then I will make the motion that we approve action item G1 as presented by Mr. Ulibarri today.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. I'm going to place a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Commissioners.
This is just another example of what we've done here in the county to help the businesses, and I think it's inappropriate in these times to do this for the penalties. We're not waiving the tax. Let's make sure we're aware of that. It's not a tax waiver. It's just accrued penalties and interest.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
We appreciate you bringing that to us.
Thank you, John. Okay, let's go to action item G2, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the Urban Park Concessionaires, DBA Utah Recreation Company for collection services at Pineview Reservoir. Holland Wilbanks, welcome.
Hi, thank you. This is a contract between Weber County and URC, which is the concessionaire that manages Pineview and Causey. This gives the county an opportunity to collect $3 for every person that comes through either Cemetery Point, Anderson Cove, or Port Ramp. This $3 goes into a restricted fund that can only be used in the Pineview and Causey areas to work on improvements around the area, as we've seen that asset be loved to death over the past few years. So this is a 4-year contract. We set it in place last year for a 1-year contract. The remainder, this 4 years, does line up with the permit that URC has with the Forest Service.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Questions, Commissioners?
Middle Inlet does not include Middle Inlet or those who choose to camp or beach at Middle Inlet, correct?
Correct.
And it also excludes Cemetery Point.
We're collecting under this contract the $3 for Cemetery Point, and then in my next presentation, we
Yep.
transfer that money to Huntsville.
Right, Town of Huntsville.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Got it. Okay. Additional questions or comments? So I'll just say that, this contract that we have with URC has been a kind of a delicate balance with the Forest Service. I think it's obviously an agreement that benefits the county because we can take funds that are paid by the people that are using that facility and put those back to work in maintaining that facility. I don't think we have an idea on the amount of dollars that will be coming to us this year, but from my discussions with Mr. Harwood, it appears they're going to be significantly more than last year just based upon our occupancy up there. Is that correct?
Correct. He described it as 4th of July every day of the week throughout the summer. So we do anticipate a significant amount. What that looks like, since we haven't had this in place except for 1 year, and the crowd level has changed, we really aren't sure quite what that'll look like. And I can add too, we didn't have both Port Ramp and Anderson Cove that went to the county last year, so now we have an additional boat launch that we do collect fees off of this year. So we should see a significant increase.
Great. Thank you. Questions? If not, I'm ready for a motion, Commissioners.
I'd make a motion that we approve G2, the contract between Weber County and the concessionaire's Urban Park.
Thank you. We have a motion.
And a second.
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Thanks. Let's go to agenda item 3. Request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the town of Huntsville regarding the collection services at Pineview Reservoir. So this gets us back to Huntsville.
Correct. So we do collect, the county receives the funds from all 3 boat launches, and then we pass the funds from Cemetery Point back to the town of Huntsville. So this is the agreement, the interlocal, that will allow us to do that.
And I understand the mayor and council of Huntsville are okay with this agreement now.
Yes, sir. They've already signed it as well.
Great. Thank you. Okay, Commissioners, questions or comments?
Motion to approve the
Second.
contract between Weber County and the town of Huntsville.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to agenda item 4, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the State of Utah Human Services for transportation services to clients referred by the Department of Human Services. Michelle Maragoni, come on up. Welcome.
Thank you. This is just a contract between the Sheriff's Office and the State of Utah, as you said, for extradition of juvenile offenders from other states to bring them back to Utah when they're apprehended somewhere else. It also allows us to help them if they need it on high-profile cases and help them with their transportation for security reasons for those. We've had a 3-year contract before. This is just a renewal. It's a 5-year, and they've increased the cost, not the cost, but the payment that they'll give us for the deputy hours for the time for those extraditions.
Okay, thank you. Questions, Commissioners? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair, the contract between Weber County and the State of Utah Human Services for the transportation of the clients.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. I'm going to place a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got a contract. Let's go to agenda item 5, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the Western Bison Association to hold the Western Bison Sale at the Golden Spike Event Center. Mr. Duncan Olson.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Welcome.
So this contract, we actually had some turnover with the Western Bison Association. There's a new president, and they're going through a little bit of some turmoil trying to make sure that they can continue down the road. This economy just is tough on everybody. But we just finished our 5-year deal with the Western Bison, and they wanted to come back again. But we're doing it for just 1 year this time, mainly to see if they can get back up on their feet and in a good position. But we also owed them a little bit of space because of the amount of panels that we got in trade. The gentleman that was in charge of it brought us more than we should have gotten. And so we have to, the contract's mainly in front of you for the discount of building for a couple of those days during the Western Bison Show.
So just so I understand this, so are those panels our property or the association's?
Ours.
Okay.
So that's been some of the confusion is they've stored their panels there for a long time. But in the trade, we would get X amount of panels to use just on the fairgrounds. It's something that's harder for us to purchase. And so we get them in trade. And so the ones that we get, we keep, but they also keep theirs on the property.
Got it. Okay. Well, and those panels are obviously not typical cattle panels. They're a little higher duty than that, and
Right.
very much needed. And as a member of the Western Bison Association. I was glad to see them keep it here. I know that there was some discussion about potentially moving it, but
Yeah, there's a point in time where you've got to kind of make that decision if you want to stay at the Golden Spike, where we have a little bit better amenities, our stalls are better, but they also come with a higher cost. And so that was something they're going to go through, and they're going to do most of the setup and tear down, which we've handled the last several years. And it takes us a good solid week and a half with jail crew members and all hands on deck to set up for the show. And so they've worked some things in their favor that hopefully will be able to make it happen again and again.
yeah, that's great. This is great for the county. It's great for them. They come in and use our hotels. They bring people from really all over the western United States that I see, and
Right.
It's a great function. I would hope that we continue to have it there. So, questions, commissioners?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to speak to this just for a moment, if I may. Not to belabor the point, but to add to your comments. So if people will ask, well, why are we trading panels and not cash? That's how we do things. Years ago, decades ago, maybe 15 years ago, 16, we brought the Bison Show here from Reno. We won that show. But at the time, this elected body was not in favor of funding the Golden Spike budget with any capital improvements. And when we needed panels for anything, even storing rodeo livestock, because they were surplused when the fairgrounds began, our guys were welding the top of one panel and the top of another panel so we could have one complete panel because the bottoms of each were rusted out. You also know, Commissioner, and alluded to, that most panels are not suited for bison. This is correct. The panels that we have out there now are taller, and they're thicker gauge steel. They're much heavier to handle a bison. Even still, they don't bring anything older than 2.5 years to our show because they're just, you have to get into 6 and 8 foot fencing for bison or they'll hop the fence. They're just very strong, magnificent animals. I've loved this show. The people are great. They've been wonderful to work with. And they had a distributor within their organization that would allow us to trade the cost of a panel at distributor pricing. So we worked out part in trade in panel and part in cash in a time, or the first week of December, where no events were being held really anywhere in town, especially at the fairgrounds and in the building that historically was very underutilized. They come in for 10 days, and a lot of their membership come and stay and in hotels and contribute to our TRT and TRCC tax. It's been really a good event, and but it's been a great thing to keep here. I'm glad to know that you're still working with them. I will say one of the things that concern me that I've learned recently, and this is my time to kind of put a stake now down, is I've learned, cattle prices are down, and so are bison prices. Yet, when you go to the market, prices are up. So why is that? Well, I've learned that it's the cutters. 90% of all livestock or beef that's cut in the United States are owned by 3 companies, none of which are U.S. companies. One's in South America, one's in China, and the other's in Europe. This is alarming to me because the spread between the livestock purchase and the price in the store is going to those cutters, all going overseas. And I have a great concern with this that I think we need to take up nationally with our Congress and Senate. That's on our agenda. And I mean, what can we do locally? Well, we can start there. That's big. But this also affects the bison price. And so we're fortunate in our local area because we have some great local cutters with CNS, and Scott Doxey's been wonderful over the years, and several others who've come and done some mobile. But as you stated, Commissioner, to get a mobile butcher or a cutter, they're just you can have a steer ready right now and be April or May before you can get it cut. And so we've got to, we have some work to do as far as at least helping get this. I mean, there's a lot to do there. So I want to keep it affordable for people. I like beef. I think it's I've heard it said it's the king of meats. A vegetarian told me that. And so that's my diatribe on that today.
Thank you for that diatribe. Just if you love beef or you like beef, you would like bison anymore, I'd suggest that you go healthy and go with bison.
Thank you. I do still have a little left that I purchased from a grower up in the Ogden Upper Valley a little bit ago.
Yeah. Well, you'll have a good opportunity on December 1st to have a bison burger and maybe even purchase your own animal.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Duncan, for that. Other questions or comments? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
I'd make a motion that we approve the contract between Weber County and the Western Bison Association for the sale.
Thank you for that.
Show and sale?
Show and sale.
Second?
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. We have a contract. Glad to see him come back. 6, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the Utah Horse Council to hold the Salty Dash Barrel Race at the Golden Spike Event Center. Mr. Olson, you're still on.
So this is a contract that I'm pretty excited about. The Utah Horse Council, they've had their convention, their conference down in Salt Lake for a long time, and I've always been trying to work the producers of this barrel race to come up and run on our ground and stay in our stalls. And because of the circumstances this year, they came to us back in March and wanted to come up because Salt Lake wasn't going to let them run. And within a week or two of that, everybody got shut down. But as the dust kind of started to settle, they had already decided that they were coming up here. They're still having trouble getting events in and out of Salt Lake, so they wanted to keep the commitment to us. And so we are going to be hosting the Salty Dash that usually is the barrel race in conjunction with the Utah Horse Council. A really cool barrel race, multiple days, and so it's a sponsorship trade with them. So we'll be recognized as a sponsor, but we also get them to come and run up here.
Perfect. What's the dates on that, Duncan?
So the dates on that one are going to be the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Of September.
Of September this month.
Great. Thank you. Coming right up. Commissioners?
Yep.
You know, what do we get for our sponsorship?
What do we get? We get recognition in their programs on their websites. We also get, let's see, I've got it right here. The announcements as they're going through, and then on their yearly year-end awards thing that they do.
The reason I ask, Mr. Chair, is I'm not able to pull this contract up, and I really wanted to see that. The internet's not working for me. So how much cash do we get on this one?
In cash, well, buildings-wise, or are you talking revenue we generate?
Do we have any revenue for buildings? And then we're not sponsoring stalls, I hope.
No. That's where the majority of our revenue will come. They range between 250 and 350 stalls, depending on how successful their barrel race will be. And so, I mean, right there is where our money is because of the 3 days that they'll be there with us.
In buildings?
Buildings, we're giving them a day in the Golden Spike and a day in the riding arena.
Of how many days?
Of the 4.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the Salty Dash Barrel Race at the Golden Spike Event Center.
Okay, we have a motion.
And I'll second that motion.
We have a second. I'd say this is another great event. It's great to see these horse events look at Weber County as being the premier spot to come because, in fact, we are. And obviously, being married to a pro barrel racer in a former life, I better vote for this. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you.
You've got a contract. Commissioner comments?
So, you know, it's interesting that we would have the approval for the Western Bison Association today, I see in the paper today where we had somebody killed by a bison at Antelope Island. And they said that was the 4th or 5th in the last 5 or 6 years.
That have been gored.
Gored, yeah. So there are those amongst us who've had that opportunity to be gored. And it's actually amazing. They're dangerous animals amongst us. And so anyway, I just wanted to mention that, and it's been great.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, brings back fond memories. Commissioner Harvey.
Opportunity that I hope never happens, and
Never have.
don't want that fond memory. Thank you.
I wouldn't say that's an opportunity that you should probably jump at, but yeah, there's no question. I mean, you go out and look at those animals, you look at Yellowstone, and since I do have some experience with that, people don't realize, number one, how fast these animals are and how fast they can change their temperament. They do give you a warning, by the way. And again, that warning could be, you could be 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, and you just never know when they're going to take offense to you being there. But when that tail goes in the air, you better be making tracks or bad things are going to happen. I'm telling you from firsthand, bad things can happen. So, anything else, commissioners? If not, I'd entertain a final motion.
So move.
I'm not sure I want to adjourn just yet.
Okay, well, you've got 40 minutes before we have to be to our next one, so.
Motion to adjourn. The second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody here today.